residence was notably increased, and this involved a man named Mr. June, a black man with one eye who did not mix with the rest of the household staff.
You would naturally connect Mr. June as Mr. Watts, as Watts, who is also the person who showed up at Amelia's reading. Like we're assuming that's the same character.
Also, as you noted to me over text last night,
yes,
Mr. June, Mary July,
right?
Something there,
and the idea of basically, if Mr. June is known as Mr. June inside of the Hoyt household in the mansion and this compound, and Julie Purcell, let's just say, was in that pink room because obviously Tom comes into that room,
sees something that indicates,
and sees something that says Julie.
Right.
If she's living there, this might be basically a fantasy world created down there.
Yes.
By Isabel or Mr. Hoyt or whoever, in which a man named Mr. June brings a secret princess named Mary July. And I don't, we were still trying to sort of figure out the significance of the month being the last name there, but it's worth noting.
Fascinating implications there also. When you think about Julie's line in the phone call, the man pretending to be my father, and who was on camera at the time.
Right, there were three guys.
When Julie's saying that.
Right, there was Tom and the two lawyers.
Right. So Wayne and Roland are burning the midnight oil at Wayne's house. They're going through Amelia's stuff and the case files. And while discussing the case, Wayne sees the car again idling outside. He goes out. Some real Hardy Boys action here. Confronts the car, bat in hand, but that's just a distraction so Roland can take a snap of the license plate. And afterwards, Wayne goes into a fugue state again, his memories collapse, and he sees himself burning his clothes after the Harris James abduction and murder in 1990.
So let's just do a little bit of who. We don't have to belabor it. I mean, we talked about Becca already. Isabel, I think, is a really fascinating character that seems pulled from, like, Rebecca or something. It's this sort of woman wandering this house. She's isolated. She's emotionally disturbed. She's had trauma in her life with the death of her husband and her child. I thought that it was pretty interesting and worth noting that we mentioned earlier the similarities between the Hoyts and the Tyson family.
Yeah.
And Tyson being this huge employer in Arkansas, obviously a huge poultry producer. In the Tyson family, John W. Tyson was killed in a train accident in the 1960s, and then